Ah, beautiful hearts. Thank you for joining us. This is an activation day. And oh my goodness, we are so excited for this activation. If you joined us in day one of our quantum conversation experience, you felt the energy, you felt the frequency. So I just want to say, welcome, Jules. Hi.
Hi, Lauren. I'm so happy to be here.
And as we are so excited and happy that you're here too, and all of the people who are joining us, whether you're joining us on our Zoom or in our YouTube channel, please share your experiences from yesterday. I was sharing before we started that Jewels Arnes is the real deal. And the more that I do my research on quantum mechanics, really, I go there. It's one of my loves. I am so convinced that Jules is a rising star and that we are so fortunate to be in her presence and just wait and see what happens in the future as the as do I was going to say the real world. Let's say the mainstream, the collective. When the
Yeah.
collective truly gets this, guess what, people? All of you beautiful souls are the way showers to then give a hand for those stepping into this awakening that we're all going through. So, in this present moment, I invite you to pause. And this pause allows us to, one, take a very cool, calm breath, very free, slow, and as deep as you want it, and hold it and just feel that essence of you. As you exhale, you're releasing what does not serve you. So please breathe like this to center yourself and feel your essence even more. So before we go on, let's take this to another level. If you want to close your eyes and actually place your hand on your heart, that immediately directs our attention to that beautiful temple within us. And I want you to feel this love that you are. Oh my, this stillness of essence that you are is your pure love. And now I want you to feel this love with your brain. Wow. Okay. This is coherence, my beautiful souls. This is coherence that we can feel. And I truly hope that you are witnessing this energy, no matter how you see it, feel it, sense it, move it. This is you. Thank you for receiving your love. And so it is. Welcome today. I am so pleased to share this activation with you that Jules is going to offer us. And so we invite you to sit back. And I just wanted to say, I got an email yesterday, Jules, from Denise, you're welcome to comment. And she was so stunned by the anti-gravity short experience that you led us through that she was naturally led to get in her gravity chair. She was outside in these tall evergreen trees up near a basin, Arapaho Basin, and she sat in a gravity chair, an anti-gravity chair, an inversion chair, and she was doing that during the anti-gravity meditation, and she just said, "Wowza, what an incredible place to be." So this is wonderful. Okay. Well, Jules, I am so excited for this, and I just wanted to check in with you and connect. How are you doing today, Goddess?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm sure everybody is feeling the energies as we approach the 8-8 to the 8-12 that I mean, the particles are already starting to move into, I guess I feel them just kind of really active, but also in that activity, a lot of density is releasing, and not density so much as we have these a lot of releasing, which maybe some of us do. I can say for myself, it's it's feeling really magical, and I just there's this deep inner peace within me that is celebrating this time, and it's like the little girl in me is like, this is what we came here for. And she is dancing and is just so excited to witness really what I'm going to say the biggest shift of mankind. It's coming. It's here.
Okay. Well, let me be a little heartfelt here. Oh, first of all, before I do that, I want to let's have everyone send Harold a big heart hug right now on August 9th, Sunday. He is turning 89. Right on, Harold. Right on. Heart hugs to you, my friend. And you know what? For any other beauty that is out there celebrating a birthday, what I find amazing is yesterday there were three people that I knew that had birthdays on yesterday's gateway of 8-4. And I just am so, to me, it's synchronicity how that shows up in my life. And so, wait, very good. Happy birthday. And happy birthday, everyone who has a birthday. And you know what? What we like to think of here at New Earth One is that every day is your birthday. Every day is Christmas. Hopefully you have a good sensation of Christmas. Every day is Mother's Day. Every day is Father's Day. Every day is Earth Day. Every day is Love Day, Valentine's Day, Self-Love Day. And so I want to circle back to what you were saying there about feeling the magic. And I have to be honest, this week, I feel like I want to cry right now because, woo, am I the only one who shed tears this week? Like, there are moments where, and you know, what we did today coming into the heart, there's times when I do that and I come into the heart and then I just start weeping, weeping, like, making the sound and ugly crying. But my point I'm saying this is that it's a release. It is a release of the density. So let it come out, everyone. And sometimes those tears are not hard. They're not discouraging. They're joyful. There's that love cry that's like, oh, I get it. When you're in bliss and you're crying when you're in bliss. And so for anyone who's going through shifts, I just want to remind everyone it's getting easier. It's getting easier. It is getting easier. And every time we let go, it is a new us. More of our light comes in. So I hope that you're feeling that too. Because if you do cry, and right now I'm crying out of the joy because my heart is opening so much that this is what it is. And so we're here to shine our radiant light. Jules, you're making me cry. It's your fault.
I love you, girl. I love you.
I am the crier when my heart opens, and I think we should all be walking around crying and having people open their hearts too. But a better way is to sing and dance. So anyway, okay. So I just wanted to share that because you know what? The past weekend coming into this week seemed like it was challenging. I wonder who else had those issues. Jules, you're saying it's magical and stuff. We get to the magic when we clean up our house, right? We get to the magic. So these are magical times. And if we're not getting to the magic, just clear out the house so the
Yeah,
magic can come in.
I love.
Cool. So you were saying that the ascension map and everything is all connected, that consciousness is a limitation of who we are, right?
I know it's so weird to hear that because we are so identified in our consciousness. And that's really, I think, what my biggest passion is to step back and look at what consciousness actually is, and that the truth of who we are, or the essence of who we are, is that divine intelligence. And consciousness is the reflection or the observation of that. And when we start to recognize that, we can start to use consciousness in a different way.
That's the whole point, consciousness in a different way. And so I was chatting with another spiritual teacher, and there's a consensus that consciousness is source in a way. Like it's it's consciousness. It's just all consciousness. So pure consciousness awareness is what we're after here. All right. So thank you, Jules, for that. DNA shows us consciousness is meant to be used as a tool. And so we're here to do an activation today. And as you prepare for that, I just want to give you a moment to reflect on that and share with us anything that you'd like about the activation with
Mm.
Astraluma as well.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I was sitting in what this activation was going to be today, and it kept coming back to the eighth technology. So we're going to do an activation of the eighth technology, and we're going to connect it into the 8-8 portal, and also have the experience of what that technology is in a moment of non-gravity. So what does all that mean? Well, the first, I'll kind of talk a little bit about the how we can use non-gravity to during our activations, because what it does is it kind of suspends everything into a state of 0 point, and it also releases our attachment to our identity. I think consciousness is a word that it it's defined differently for a few different people. So when I speak of consciousness, it is the part of us that is aware, right? Or it could be unconsciousness, and it's the part that is maybe running a program that we're not aware of. But there's still this essence of, if you think about, well, I became conscious or I'm conscious of, it's the part of us that is aware that we are conscious that often is the part of us that gets in the way, because that is the part that wants to identify this. So when we become conscious, what is the first thing we do is we name it, we label it. And even when we're in these activations and we're having these spiritual experiences, we have this little part of us that's saying, I'm having a spiritual experience. Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I'm experiencing this and I feel this. And it's that part of us that's always wanting to name something. And then for me, the language would be, there's an intelligence that is a deep knowing inside of us. And that intelligence is stored in our DNA. And our DNA is a map that, when activated, is an ascension to becoming divine form, if you will, becoming the divine in form. And of course, a lot of times we'll call that the light body, the crystalline body. But I think we all can agree that we're moving out of a two-strand DNA system, and we are starting to experience the 12-strand DNA system. And one thing that, as we are just days away from one of the biggest shifts, if not the biggest shift, I guess we'll find out afterwards, right? I'm sure there'll be more big shifts coming up, but in this really massive shift that's going to happen between the 8th and the 12th of August, it's already starting to happen. A lot of us are feeling it's been kind of revving up for quite a while now. And one of the things that happens when these particles start to spread out and they start to reorganize into a different mechanics of reality is that we have the experience of our consciousness letting go of attachments. The sense of self is being reorganized. And so all of a sudden it's like something just broke open our entire state of being. And so the part of us that wants to recognize the self through an identity is also broken open. So when we go to kind of figure out, well, who am I and what am I doing here? And all of a sudden nothing makes sense. And we're wanting to kind of put things in boxes again. And that I would say the invitation right now, really through like the 18th of August, maybe even the 27th, but is to allow that intelligence inside of the DNA to reorganize your consciousness within the experience of what is happening. And that's kind of what the activation I feel led to do today is that, when we hear timeline shifting, a lot of times we think we're going from one place to the other, but really what we're experiencing is the reorganization of particles on a divine level. And we're just having the experience of that. So the activation that Asher Luma wanted to share today was the activation of the eighth technology, which is the ability to timeline shift through the divine experience of consciousness. And because we're also going into the 8-8 portal, they are kind of allowing us to have the experience of this 5-day shift right now. And so that's going to be the timeline shift. So, what's the invitation here? Well, the invitation is to, if you feel led, to have the final release of something. It could be that for me, I'll share what my release is that I'm just like take it all. I mean, honestly, I'm just like I
Yes.
I know at this point in my life that the little me or the part of me that even can perceive even the most expanded state of consciousness, I know that is still a limitation. And so I am just like fully come in, take over, I submit. So what part of me is submitting is the part of me that's separate from my divine self. And so as the part of me that is conscious of that, I am submitting to that, and then I'm open and willing to have the experience of what that's going to be. And what that's something that has been really strong is, and the reason I'm spending a little time on this is because when we place an intention, it is an activation of our DNA. So when we ask, I want to have this experience, I have this intention, that frequency releases from our DNA and starts to alter the particles of our mind, body, and reality. And then what we do in that experience really dictates what the experience of that intention is going to be. So when we have an intention and we allow the frequencies to activate, and then I'm going to say it again, we allow the intention to reorganize our mind, body, and reality is when we get to have the experience of our intention through the divine frequency. But when we place an intention and then our mind comes in and says, well, it should be this way, or it should be this way, or we start, I mean, and a good example of this is that the particles will start to reorganize, and sometimes we'll have these little synchronicities coming in, and all of a sudden, our consciousness or our mind will want to grasp onto one of those synchronicities and say, well, this is what it's going to be. Right? How many times have
Yes.
you guys done that? This is what it's going to be. I know it because I asked for this and this is my intention. And look, I got this little magic. of that. And then we start building this box around it. And then all of a sudden, it starts to get dense and this timeline starts to go. And then all of a sudden, what we thought was going to happen really quickly, all these little stumbling blocks starts to get in the way. And then we wonder why. And it's so this is the invitation is that when we activate the eighth technology, it is the technology of the eight and ascending reality is the ability to timeline shift, but to shift consciousness into a space of an expression of source. So that expression that is running through our consciousness and the particles are consistently stabilizing into the highest frequency of the timeline our intention is. Well, what's another way of saying that? That when we activate an intention, we move into the experience of these particles and we stay in the experience of the particles. And every time that we want to start naming it and grasping it and making it into something, we back off and then we say, okay, I'm going to reactivate that again. And I'm going to move back into the experience. And sometimes that experience is that we're just in a state of allowing. And I can say what I have found is that it happens a lot faster. Even when we feel like the experience is being in stillness for part of that time, which can be the hardest part because our mind wants to be active. It wants to fill space. It doesn't want to be still. It wants to identify. It wants to distract. And what the opportunity right now is that we get to have the experience of our DNA, the source intelligence that's inside of us, to activate the particles of our experience of our body, the experience of our mind, and the experience of our reality. Because guess what? It's going to happen anyways. It's happening. It's going to happen. It's going to start happening on the 8th. All the particles of our 3D mechanics are going to really start to rev up. So be ready, right? Just be ready. And how do we be ready? We're willing. We're willing. It's like, okay, this is what I came from, or what I came here for. What am I willing to continue to let go of to have the experience of heaven on earth? Right? And what am I not willing to let go of? Maybe look at that right now, too. And when the 8th comes and those particles really start to loosen up and things, I mean, guys, it's going to be wild. For those of us that are aware and the other and sensitive, we're really going to feel it. I mean, I have already, I'm having some experiences of just reality breaking open and realigning. For some of us, these 5 days are going to change everything. We will not be the same afterwards. For some of us, we're going to be like, I know something happened, but I'm still trying to figure it out. And then for some of us, we may get on the other side and like, eh, like something's different, but I don't know. It's like kind of like something changed. I don't know what changed. Another thing that I have a feeling a lot of us will be saying is, nothing changed, but everything changed. And that's kind of the sense that we'll be having. But in that, it's learning how to work with the new mechanics of reality that is going to make it fun. And that's what the ascending realities class or the reality ascension class is all about, is learning how to use the technologies of our DNA, because our DNA has so many amazing technologies. You know, a lot of us know that we have some really advanced beings in the universe, and they are constantly trying to show us just how advanced we really are. And all of that is inside of our DNA. And when we learn to activate those, is when we're going to start to timeline shift, teleportation, telekinesis, all of these things that on a level, I mean, just check in with yourself right now. I know in my body that I should be able to do that right now. Like it's a knowing. It's not my mind. It's like my body knows it. Even when I say that, my body lights up because it knows that this is part of its innate state of being. And after the non-gravity moment, we're going to be more active than ever before. And those our DNA technologies, they're active, they're there. Now we just need to learn how to use them. And that's what I'm really excited for. So, do you have some questions before
Wow.
we go into the
Yeah,
activation?
well, I just want to get a little quantum physicky here because it's just so fascinating what we know about the electron and how electrons come from the zero dimension, 0 point electrons, and the way that they move, they can flip, they can be black or white, they can be hard or soft. And it's never consistent because then it brings into mind superpositioning. And I don't want to get too technical here, but I just love what you said because it corroborates. It's like the next level of quantum physics. It really is what you're uncovering, Jules. That's why I said in the beginning, you are just the tip of your iceberg for what you are bringing forward. So, this the allowing is a deep knowing within and a deep trusting of consciousness without us collapsing the particle or collapsing that wave into what the label is that we're trying to think about it. So in that moment in time, you said it was 10:33 a.m. Eastern time on August 12th. It's so amazing because that's an eclipse day as well.
I
Wow.
I know,
And
and I didn't
so
know that until after I got that message. So that just made it even better.
it's so amazing. And so it's all about the light. And I really want to highlight that word allow. Well, let go, let go, let go. And I think everyone should write this down. What am I willing to let go of? Or rather, what am I willing not to let go of to
Yeah.
experience new earth? That's a deep, profound question. Another question that I have for everyone to consider in this moment is what would you do if you had no fear? That's a big one. I asked myself that, and it changed a decision that I had made. I literally made a decision, and then because of that decision, that was a timeline shift right there towards New Earth. And it ended up being a beautiful experience that was one of a really most life-changing experience. So, what would you do if you had no fear? And what are you willing to let go of? Or what are you willing not to let go of? So, when you say not let go of, is that like the deep question of that's what we're still clinging to?
Yeah. I really check in with myself with this question all the time because I mean, we have to just entertain ourselves at some point because we have these things where even the messages that we hear from the divine, there's ones that we're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do that. And then there's ones where like, oh, I didn't hear that right. Right? Or oh, maybe I need to check in with that again. And because we don't want to hear it, or we're not ready for it. And so we'll distort it, right? Well, the same thing is true with the way that we, within our life. There's going to be things that if we were asked to surrender it, we would do it in a second. And then there may be a few things that where if the divine came and said, okay, now you're going to surrender this, would I be willing to say yes to that? And it's what the ones that were like, I don't know. Or maybe I could say yes, but then I'm going to hold on to certain aspects of it. And those are the parts where it's really important for us to sit in for a little while and look at what am I getting out of it that I'm not willing to let go of. And that's a deep exploration of consciousness, right? Because there there's a lot of information in there. And when we can start to see it as information, and not that it has to be this big traumatic story, it helps us release the attachment to it a little bit because our body is, the two-strand DNA body is designed to keep us safe. It does not want you to change. it wants you to be the same all the time, every day. And in some ways, that works for us when we have healthy habits that we're just repeating every day. But there's also parts that it extends into our programming and our life. And just like when we make good choices, even if they're really great choices, if it's change, our body will respond to it as stress because it doesn't want us to change. And so when we can start to see things that we're holding on a chemical level, a biochemical level, it's a little bit easier to step back and be like, okay, do I want to experience my life through just two strands on a biochemical level? Or am I ready to experience it on a multidimensional level? And just by making that choice, the body starts to turn on a higher frequency. It starts to operate from a higher frequency. We're able to open up our perspective. We're able to let go of things easier. We, our consciousness is expanding and it starts to reorganize into higher particles or higher frequencies. And then all of a sudden, our life changes. Not because we were forcing a change, because we let go of what the two-strand DNA system was creating. And when we move into the multidimensional body, the organization of particles follows. It is an organic thing. And so what you hear over and over and over again is, I didn't really do anything, but all of a sudden, here I am. And that's because the particles are doing it. Consciousness isn't doing it. Consciousness is the thing that let go to allow the particles to rearrange. And then all of a sudden, consciousness becomes aware of the change. And then we are like, wow, it happened. And I have no idea how. And that's going to keep happening over and over again, especially in these, I'm getting chills, especially in these next few days.
So cool. And there's a few questions coming in that I want to address on that. And first, I want to say there are some birthday babies in this crowd. We have
Happy
Harold,
birthday.
we have Maureen. Maureen was on the second. Wow, that's a good one. And I know another person whose birthday was on the second. It's a magic. And then there's also uh, um, Sue. Sue turns 71 on the 8th. And Lori says 71 reduces to 8. So that's an 8 year she's going into on this 888 gateway because
Yeah.
26 of 2026 is a 826. Okay, cool. So, all right. So, Linda asks, is what you are explaining relative to the particle wave theory? And I
Mm.
would say my wisdom says yes, but Jules takes it to the next level. She is interpreting it from her guides, from the information that she gets, and it is next level quantum because it's you are explaining it. Our allowance, our intention, and our allowance is what allows everything to restructure in a way that is so unexpected. We don't know how it will turn out. And
Yes.
so this brings then I'll let you answer that. But then here's the other part of that question. Do we just, this is from Carrie, angel voice, Carrie. So do we just focus on being without gravity during that 7 seconds?
Mm.
Okay, those two
Yes.
questions.
Yeah, I love that. So when you're in, and we'll do in the activation today, we'll go into a state of non-gravity. Of course, on that, on the activate the day on the 12th, everything is going to go into a state of not gra non-gravity. So not just the magnetics of your body and the experience of this activation, but all of reality and beyond this reality, everything is going into a state of non-gravity. It's literally going to reshift. So if you think about going back to that first question, what I think the easiest way to answer it is to recognize that the way that we are measuring our reality, what or, if you want to say quantum physics, is through observation. Observation is what creates distortion because once something is observed, it is separate from the intelligence of source. So there's going to be an element of distortion. And that does that mean it's wrong? Well, no, it just means it's only part of the truth because it's in that observation of a particle that there is an automatic distortion. What we're talking about is allowing I'm getting chills. It's so good. The intelligence of source that is stored in our DNA, when we start to activate that intelligence, it's a frequency, right? And that frequency has the intelligence of source. This has already also been proven, but with Greg Braden is that the divine frequency is in our DNA. We already know this. It's not even theory, you guys. This is happening. And when our DNA turns on and we release the frequency, and that frequency hits the particles, not by our conscious observation, but the DNA is activating those particles. And that may run through our consciousness, and we may have a little bit of the experience of that, but we are not observing it. We are experiencing it. And that keeps those particles, and those particles are actually, you can name them. The Astroluma calls them Issachar particles. And the Issachar particles are particles that can only be activated by the frequency of source. And so when we, in these next few days, continue to ask, I want to have, so what is it to have the intention of whatever it is through the frequency of source of my DNA. Let that frequency release, let it connect into these particles and stay in the experience. And it will blow your mind over and over and over again. You guys, this is the magic of what we're here to experience. And now more than ever, we get to. So as we're leading up to the 8-8, have fun, see what you can shift, see how easy it can be to shift things, especially right now because the density of particles are shifting, they're changing, they are releasing from the third dimension mechanics. So what does that mean? That the way that our reality has been measured through the observation of the collective consciousness is going to break apart. And it is going to realign into a fifth dimension level of mechanics. Is that going to be what we call heaven on earth? It will feel like that for us, yes. Will that be the end of it? Absolutely not. But that's the next level that we're going
That's the
to.
next level. And so as we go through that, the experience of that is to, some could snap back, right? Muscle memory, cellular memory, that sort of thing. Well, that could be the same case applied to this situation. So I think we can catch ourselves even quicker when we I think we're going to be able to be conscious of when we do go unconscious or when we do start to loop. We're going to be more attuned to experience that, to become aware of that. So I love that. Here's another question, which is very valid. What about the things that we need to release, but are unaware of what they are? Can we just be open in our intention?
Absolutely. And that's one thing that I've been kind of playing with too, because I'm yeah, well, just take it all. It's just take it all. So it's things that I want to hold on to and things I don't want to hold on to. Just restructure my reality, and I'll figure it out later, right? Like, because right now my biggest job is to not identify, and part of that non-identification is to not worry about not making it, or like kind of looking at like, well, what if I don't know? What is that experience gonna be like? And what I find is that one thing that the biggest message that I keep getting more and more is that right now we each have a choice of how we want to experience this. And I choose to have it through joy and ease and peace. And if that feels good to you, like call that in right now. And because one thing that I have also noticed is in this breaking up of things that once felt really kind of heavy, or maybe were heavy in my heart, or a little bit like the residue wasn't quite there. It was always this background kind of noise, you could say. All of a sudden when I think about it, it's almost as if I can feel it breaking up inside of me. And when I go to try to remember what it was, it's kind of just not like I know it happened, but it's hard to really grasp. And so I know that it's doing something. And I know it's doing things on things that I'm not aware of too. And I can kind of feel them breaking up. And I'm just like, well, if it's important for me to consciously say I release it, I'm willing to do that. Show it to me. But if not, I just release it. And I'm doing it with ease and joy and redesign my life so that I can show up, live heaven on earth, and be of service to others. And that's kind of been what I've been saying every morning.
Thank you for sharing that. That really hits home and in the heart, actually. And I just want to say these energies, and there's comments in our chat here that the energies are really intense. People are feeling them. But these energies over just even the past weekend, and me letting go of certain things, it was challenging, but the feeling afterwards is wonderful. And knowing that it was the consciousness of source, or it's to allow for something better to come in, or it's living in integrity. All right, that just comes to mind right there. So when we release things, it makes us more integrous. Um, right? This is that's a whole separate conversation. But I want to say that this conversation that we've had so far is like an activation. And I hope people are already sensing that, because you are being activated in your particles, what you are willing to release and how you are going to allow. And so I'm going to let you go forward for that activation. And I'm thinking for the 7 seconds, I'm going to hold my breath.
I love
I don't
that.
know why. I'm going to hold my breath. I don't know why, but that's what I'm called to do, to allow. And I don't think there's any instructions here, but that's just something in my knowingness. What do you think about that? There's no rules on this, is there?
As I would say, just in, I love the holding the breath, and it's just that let's say for 7 seconds, you do absolutely nothing. You stay in stillness. Just let it become what it's going to become. And however that feels right for you is absolutely correct. And uh, yeah, there's a lot that's going to happen in that 7 seconds, and a lot of us won't have any idea what that's going to be until we kind of start to live it, right? It's what's going to happen after that that gets really exciting.
All right, so set your alarm on your phone the night before, or even now if you can do that, for 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, and just experience it and tune in to all the other hearts around our planet that are doing that as well. All right, beautiful Jules. Well, thank you. Everyone sit back to receive this beautiful activation with Astra Luma and Jules.
Thank you. All right. So first, I'll just invite everybody to go back into that heart space that Lauren just so beautifully brought us into when we began the call. And as you're settling into your heart, we're just going to connect in and start attuning the body. So if you would like, I'm going to invite you to breathe in a white blue light, just breathing it in through your nose, allowing it to begin to trace along your brain, moving down through the base of your spine, and then just breathing it out. Starting to feel that light as it activates the synapse responses, those new ones that are connected to the 12-strand DNA system, multidimension. And then just breathing in again, allowing that light to move down to the base of your spine. And then just feeling it as it goes into your heart, into your blood, as it begins to ascend your heart and your blood into that 12-strand DNA experience. And just one more time, we'll just breathe in that light, attuning the spinal fluid, activating all of the electrons of the body, moving them into that frequency of source. And as the light moves up through your spine, you're going to bring it right into the center of your physical brain. And inside of your pineal gland is the 12-strand DNA operating system. And I want you to see that tiny little white blue light in the center of your pineal gland, and just bringing all of your thoughts, your subconscious, your higher conscious, all into that little tiny white blue light as it activates the 12-strand DNA system. We're going to push that light out to encompass your entire brain. Just feeling that light as it activates every cell of your body. Moving your body into a wave state as we activate the frequency of the evolution technology, turning on the 12-strand DNA system, and just allowing the particles to begin to move into a wave state. Activating 8th strand technology. We'll first activate control Q-trit, frequency pattern, shifting particles of body, wave state, release of density, release all that is not in service of highest good. Brenche koprosh. Equation. Eshe kata throntuku. Ese kashishtakam prentiti. Activation. Stabilization. 0 point. Frishi katon mrantketa. Activation. Frequency. Source. 12-strand DNA system. Brosho kaprend ese kopush. As we activate 8th strand DNA technology, we will activate technology. Conscious timeline shift. It is through conscious timeline shift consciousness has experience of shifting frequency, observation of particles, observation, reality, observation of consciousness itself, into frequency transmission, intelligence, source frequency, allowing particles align, pure source, intelligence, a prey, koto ulisi, preparation, activation, koshein kampra, woso kichi. We now invite, if you have intention, activation. We'll first prepare activation, 8th strand technology. Preparation, frequency, gamma light pulsation, 8th strand. You will begin to feel frequency release from pineal gland. Gamma light pulsation, shifting, bringing all neural pathways into 0 point frequency, allowing frequency of mind, release 0 point, pulsation, frequency, kosha thransaki, transmission, koshur thransi. We will now run gamma light pulsation, nervous system, ascension, kashe kathro, ose, tushon kantre, transmission beyond the language of our mechanics. Preparation, activation, 8th strand technology. We'll now release frequency in a preparation of non-gravity. We will activate non-gravity disk above head. Activation, non-gravity disk below feet. Pulsation. We'll first run pulsation, clearing all frequency of density. You will feel a pulsation as all frequencies of body, all particles, and electrons moving into states, releasing density, gamma light wave pulsation. You will begin to feel release of density within body. Okay, we are now ready. Activation. 8th strand technology. We will be activating intention, timeline, conscious shift, kapran sheti. Kososh Rata, Kinchi. Preparation, gravity, shifting. All particles of body state of non-gravity. Now. Activation. 8th strand. Technology conscious. Shift timeline Karpran GT. Stabilization. We will now run frequency, Stargate frequency, Kache Kampron. You will feel Stargate expansion from pineal gland. Stargate expansion. Transmission. Timeline particle shift. Prese kotosh, ranchi. Transmission through consciousness, allowing consciousness release. Running frequency, neural pathways, allowing neural pathways to expand, multidimensional. Prache kiti. Activation, frequency, light technology, connection, consciousness. Light technology through nervous system, connection, consciousness. Stabilization. We'll continue with one more transmission. Transmission beyond the mechanics of our language. Beginning transmission. It is this transmission we will continue through 8th strand DNA technology, allowing integration, 8th strand technology, conscious timeline shift. It is through this transmission we will continue through moment of non-gravity. It is in this transmission you will have experience allowing consciousness to release, allowing technology to shift experience of intention. Prosho, compre, asa kothro, rishe compri, run turkosh. We honor each of you in this transition. 12th strand DNA system will continue activate. It is through these activations that you will find you are divine frequency. This frequency is an intelligence. Within this intelligence, alteration, particles of reality, particles of how consciousness organizes. It is through the intelligence that is organizing consciousness that will release the density where you will begin to experience fifth dimension through body. Breshe kaparan toko shiti vraseko toton. Fashi kasathrosson. Transmission will continue. Activation is now complete. So as you feel ready, you can kind of float for a little bit.
Wow, thank you. Oh my goodness. That was palpable. And that is a beautiful activation. Let's hear from you folks. What did you feel? I definitely felt my brain. I definitely felt goosebumps. I felt energy that I've not really felt before. And then the disc under the feet as well. the whole thing, and it changed along the way. And I could just imagine the particles turning into waves and reorganizing. And I don't want to think about it, but I felt it. I felt it. Cool. What has anyone else experienced? Jules, you're doing the transmission. Do you feel it as well?
And I see it. Yeah, I definitely get a bigger picture of what's happening because I can see it. I mean, maybe, and that's where I don't know what it's like really on the other side, but I would say I probably feel it a lot like you do.
The pineal gland. I mean, I really felt that. That is so cool. And I didn't realize that the 12 strand DNA, did you say it was the blueprint, was in the pineal gland?
Yeah, the
Wow.
operating
The
system is
operating system. Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. Tomorrow we have Q&A for everyone to share their experience, but I want to honor Maureen. Maureen, hello. Please, you can unmute yourself and share your experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much. When you activated the pineal, every time you said that word, it just burst out and alive. And it came down in a diagonal pattern from the right side of my face and went right into my heart center as you continued. But what was also interesting, it stayed focused in the heart center, and then there was a vertical drop down line, whether it went to my liver or where it ended up, but it ended mid abdomen. And then of course there was the vibration across the forehead and the top of the head as you proceeded with your activation. But it mainly dropped right into my heart. I did ask for have light cataracts. I have other issues, but that one I wanted to work on because that would be the most visible part. I allowed the freedom of the activation to go where it chose, and it definitely zeroed right in on my heart. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your activation.
Thank you. That was beautiful share.
Yes, thank you, Maureen. You exactly said what I felt as well. Like I really did feel that in the brain, the neural pathways and all of it. Wow. And then I really paid attention to just allowing it, to just allow and not to think about it. So that's very, very cool. All right. Yeah, everyone, Kathy's feeling so good. Right on. Feeling floaty and at peace. And does it deepen more if we repeat the experience? Absolutely. It meets you at your next level. This is living. I will say this is a living multidimensional activation. It's gonna spiral us up. What are your thoughts on that, Jules?
Absolutely. I feel like that's just kind of where we are is every time we think, oh, it can't get better, it always does. So if we're repeating things, we're always going to repeat it at the next level of frequency of what we're able to hold. So absolutely repeating.
Well, we
Yeah.
felt the frequency. And when we close our eyes and feel that frequency or go for that frequency, that's it. It's all within us. It's all within us. We are simply unlocking those frequencies. Did I get that right? We're unlocking or we're allowing?
Yeah, I would say our 12 strand DNA system, it's always been there. It's always been active. But the more that we ask to have them activate, it's kind of like it's that intention of the command where the frequency will then release. And then what we do after that is really the most important part is that we stay in this space of allowing so we can allow the shift to be created and then the particles will stabilize kind of where our consciousness will finally settle and then we keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
Excellent. Awesome. Okay. So do it again and come back to this right after this. This show is over. The replay will be right on the page. And actually, I dropped that page into the chat. I'll do it one more time. Yeah, I'll do that chat one more time so it's at the top of your chat box. But this is a way that you can take this work even deeper. This is a beautiful opportunity. Jules has come up with a couple of things, several options. And one is to join us on the Anti-Gravity 8-8 Lionsgate event. That's a two-part event. And that's coming up. And I would like to offer the New Earth Frequency Support Bundle with the purchase of that 8-8 Lions Gate. And so we'll put that in on that webpage as well. That's my gift to everyone. It's just got beautiful frequency support, plant music, and some 5D activations, meditations to let go and then prepare yourself for this deeper work. But I know everyone who follows Jules is already heavily into this work, and you may be prepared, but we're just adding that as a special bonus for the Lion's Gate. And then there is two offerings. One is I'll let Jules explain this more, but one is a condensed version and one is a deep dive. And this is all available for you. Tell us about that, Jules.
So the first offer is the Ascension map. So it's based on your birth date. And part of the Ascending Reality class it's not really a class, it's going to be an experience. It's all activation and work. So when we activate the telepathy technology, we will be in class using this telepathy technology. You'll be connecting with your partner using the telepathy technology. So it's very interactive and using the technologies, because if we're not actually using them, we're not learning. We can read about them, we can talk about them, but we want to actually use them. And so in the first offer is finding out what your DNA ascension map is. So everybody is born, and when we're born, we are immediately connected to the stars and we start a timeline. And so the ascension map is dissolving that timeline by through the ascension of mastery of your DNA. And so everybody has a different ascension map. You'll receive your six codes, and through those six codes, you will find your master avatar, your master purpose, your master, what you're here to master as far as a looping cycle or a behavior. You will find out what law of the universe you are here to master and how to do that. And then you will also find your unique DNA technology. So whether it's telepathy, some of you will be timeline shifting, as shape shifting. So everybody has a technology that they came here to experience and master. And then the last technology is a portal of the body that activates the six strands. So it's after we have six strands that are active and that we're learning to consciously interact with them that we begin to send through them. So it is a map. It's called a map for a reason. So it's not just a static blueprint. It's a map that you continue to ascend through. And so part of that is a workshop that I teach you how to use the map to ascend. And you can bring all your questions, and we'll do some Q&A with Astroluma as well. And then you also get a 21-day transmission where it sends your blueprint through the way your cells are dividing so that they start to activate those six strands of DNA based on your ascension map. So that is package A. And then package B is the full ascension course where you are activating all 12 strand technologies, how to use your ascension map with those technologies. And it's going to be just so much fun. I could go on and on, but I feel like we can save some for tomorrow.
We can. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. And then tomorrow, it's going to be wonderful to hear from all of you. Please join us again. Come back in the frequencies. You know, it's more than just Q&A. It's integration day. And that is where more magic happens, especially with you sharing your voice, you sharing questions that expands all of it for us. and maybe we'll even do another activation. There's more love to go around for everyone. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Jewels and all of your beautiful faces tomorrow. So join us again. Just email me if you have any questions with our webpage here at New Earth One, these quantum conversation experiences of the 3 days. It's all on one page, so everything's there, and you'll be able to watch all 3 days on that one page. The Zoom link is on there as well. And we also have an RSVP to remind you, because our days get so busy, that if you RSVP on that page, you'll get a text message if you opt in for that, or an email an hour before the show so you don't miss it. Okay, cool. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us and receiving this activation. This is our light tribe, and this is how we shift the world. Your heart and the hearts that you light up because of the shifts that you've made today. I hope that you can feel, or at least sense, an inkling of the timeline shift that you made just from this activation today. I feel it, and I'm so happy and enjoy from it. Thank you so much, Jules. As we say goodbye, I want to give you a moment for your final thoughts.
Oh gosh, so I would say now that you've had this activation, stay in a place of curiosity and allowing. And every time you want to kind of go to like, oh, did it work? Or you have the thoughts of what if it didn't work? Or what if it does work? And you kind of get in the way. Just, just like in that moment, just say, you know what, Divine? I'm just gonna keep submitting. I'm gonna keep surrendering, and I'm just ready to experience ascension from a place of magic. Show me what that is. And just stay in the experience. Be willing to get out of the way because you guys, it is time to enjoy our ascension. We are moving into the new earth because we worked so hard to get here. And now we get to step in and have the experience. And sometimes that means we have to let go, but that doesn't mean that it has to be hard. Sometimes it's just hard in the initial, and then we're like, oh my gosh, thank goodness that I did that. So
Thank
that's the
goodness.
invitation. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all hearts around the world who are joining us today, even in the recording as well. You're still part of this circle of love and light. And happy birthday to every soul who's here. Remember, every day is your birthday, and we love you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see everyone tomorrow, I hope. Namaste, beautiful hearts. Namaste. Cool. Thank you. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.